Hey everybody, it's Wednesday, time for a little Wisdom Wednesday. I wanted to jump on today and just do a little brief overview of estradiol. We've covered progesterone and testosterone, which are the other hormones, major sex hormones made in the ovary. So just finished up a little bit on estradiol. We've done quite a bit on estradiol as we've talked about the risk factors and the concerns about breast cancer, especially when we reviewed that book, Estrogen Matters. But really, what is estradiol? It's a hormone. It's a steroid hormone that is made from cholesterol. So we don't want to wipe cholesterol off the planet. We need plenty of cholesterol to make the hormones. And if we're not making them, as happens with menopause, then we can actually take them in different ways. You can do pellets, you can do creams, you can do oral. The reality is that oral estradiol in many respects improves cardiovascular health better than any other form, although you get steady state levels with creams and or patches or pellets, any way that you want to do that. Has been concern with synthetic estrogens about the increased risk of clotting factors, but there's really no data that estradiol has ever been shown to increase risk for any types of blood clotting issues. So that's very safe. And we have covered time and time again the fact that estradiol in and of itself does not cause any form of breast cancer. Now, when you take estradiol, particularly in women who make a lot of estrogen in their fat cells, there is increased risk for uterine cancer if you still have your uterus. That's why we use progesterone. But we use progesterone for other reasons as well. Even if you don't have your uterus, we think progesterone has much good balancing effects with estrogen and protection for breast cancer, as well as helps build good, strong bones. So estradiol is a steroid hormone that can improve mood. It decreases overall morbidity and mortality from all causes. Even in women with a history of breast cancer, it can actually improve your length of life. So it decreases morbidity and mortality even in women who've had breast cancer, even in women who've had estrogen positive receptors in their cancers. We know that it improves memory and cognition, decreases your risk for neurodegenerative changes and disorders such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. It can definitely help with temperature dysregulation, and it helps with loss of sexual function. It improves skin thickness as well as elasticity and gives us an overall feeling of well-being. And we know that estradiol can improve our bone health. So bone is a very dynamic organ. We are constantly laying down new bone and taking away old bone. And what happens as we age is that there's an imbalance in that aspect, such that the cells that take away bone are more active than those that are laying down new bone. And so there is a discrepancy there, and the density of bone becomes less and less over time. But when you have a balanced hormone program with estradiol, which slows down the reabsorption, and you have testosterone and progesterone, which actually helps production of new bone, then you can maintain that good, healthy balance. And we're seeing a lot of women who come to see us who really are not that symptomatic with their menopause, but are having significant issues with bone health. And truly, estrogen and exercise are the absolute best things for bone health, even with the fact that we have medications that increase the density of bone, but we are not building normal, healthy bone in those instances. And certainly in women who are young and not at fall risk, these drugs are not that beneficial because you shouldn't really use them long term. So we know that the hormonal program can actually be of more benefit to most women in terms of bone health, if that's an issue. We also know that estrogen reduces the risk for macular degeneration. So for eye health, there's quite a bit of data to suggest that estradiol is exceedingly beneficial. So as you can see, estradiol is quite helpful and beneficial overall, and I do think that it's important to understand what it is and how it works in the body. We know that we have estrogen receptors all over the body. It actually, in many instances, acts as an anti-inflammatory, as an antioxidant, and overall is exceedingly beneficial for women who've lost all their estrogen and who get on a program. They actually feel so much better. It's just so fascinating to have women come back in and just say, I feel more like myself. Their joints are less achy. They can sleep better at night. They have better balance in terms of overall mood, and they're getting much better depth and quality of sleep, and therefore less anxious and less depressed. So I think that hopefully that gives you a little more insight into estradiol and the fact that we do not need to fear estradiol at all. And had to work through, if this is nature's way, why do we need to do this? But when you look at the literature and you actually look at the scientific data, we know that by enhancing and correcting hormone levels to optimal youthful levels, that we do see significant improvement in overall health span and longevity. Hope you all have a great week, and we will see you next week. Take care.